where I was born. And it goes something like this. The sun was closer to Earth in 1965, with more scorch. Shadows were cooler, though, and comforted. Out of my mother's Windexed view, beyond the houses, heat drooped already and only morning, past mosquito trees and cracked curbs, smoking blue chalk, vague with fear and blessing myself past red-doored St. Mary's, I tramped to the humid fields. With wild and cautious instinct, now predator, now prey, I roamed, my thirsty nostrils drinking odors, acrid leaf and stream scum, my eyes sponged colors vivid and oozing off torpid curtains of wildlife. I knew in the balls of my feet the degree of the turn of each path, knew the caves of shrub that only spits of light could find. I knew where you could lie in grass that stayed wet all morning and where the rats lived. When I peed into a whirring orb of gnats, my hot urine sparked the sun. I remember thinking, though couldn't say, that periwinkle sky turning gray was the passing image of something that never passed. And I wasn't the only one whose chest heaved as he lay cooling his back in mud. Some of us were friends. We'd prick finger blood to prove it, swear loyalty on our mother's graves. Other boys were fools, sworn enemies. We'd meet them unexpected in clearings and bark curses at them and flail our fists at their devil heads until tears or blood flowed. 5 o'clock clouds swelled over the Bayonne Bridge, the sound of booming God trembling our disheveled heads and mixing with our mother's supper calls. Naturally, we hid away. I suppose if you were God hovering over Port Richmond in 1965, you would have seen our old house being painted all the summer week by my father on his 1 week's vacation. The Advance, blowing across Harrison Avenue, would be full of ads for stores that you would know were dying, but we didn't. And because my mother loved you, your mercy eyes would follow her, her armpits wet, her pockets full of coupons and rosary beads, wire carts squealing toward A&P bargains. You'd find my brothers sailing ragged seamed baseballs into grandstands that roared with graffiti and glass, or armed with cherry bombs, blowing up sewers that for hours after stank the stagnant air. If it was me you wanted, you'd know from experience that I was in that jungle of worms and weeds, sometimes alone, though usually not. I'd be crawling most likely, dirt in my mouth and heat in my ears like wax. And because you were God, you would know that I was filthy with innocence and mystery, as you intended, and that I was readying myself for the call.